Hey everyone, today I would like to talk about the Hiya Toys Godzilla vs. Kong Godzilla 2021, the version 2, not the first one, uh, and my honest thoughts on the figure and what I think of it. And I did say I was gonna get another one at some point, and I mean, I still am gonna get a few more at least, and this is what I think of the figure. And I'm going to say this right now, before I get into it, it's better than my two G19s or Godzilla 2019s that I had. It's a lot better than those two. And yes, it's two. And I'll go into the positives. No, I'll go into the negatives. Then I'll go into the positives. Just so I don't end it negatively, because there's going to be a bit of a, I don't know if I'd call it a spoiler, but there's more negatives than positives. It's not a, I want to say this, it's not a bad figure, but I'm not going to call it a perfect figure in any way. It's not. So I'm going to get into the negatives now. And the first negative is the way the joints are. The elbow joint does this, it's really, the left elbow joint is really stiff, while the shoulder joint is really loose, and same with the hands or the wrist, which is weird because the right elbow is all right. It's not that stiff, but it does a weird thing, like it'll stop in a certain spot, then it's harder to move it in that spot. Like it's loose and tight at the same time for the elbows, especially the left one. And it's really annoying to deal with for animations. And I can work with it, but it's extremely annoying. And the head joint's good on it, but that's more of a positive. But we're on the negatives. Again, with the knees, they're using like a, I don't really know what I'd call them. Can't really think of it right now. But the knees are really weird on it. And this is a problem with the Hiya figures that I've had so far. The legs or the hips, is that what I would call it? Or is it just the leg? No, I'll just call it the leg. It's loose. Not smooth loose. Like a nasty kind of loose. In a way. Not like the NECA figures. And this is a problem on all of them. The G19s, this, and if I make a video with some, which I probably will, the Burning Godzilla. All of them have this problem. And I think it has to do with the size and weight of it. It's just too big. And it becomes a problem. And the tail is also insanely loose. And I'll show a video on it. It's ridiculous why it's this loose. I've had it for like a week or two. And when I took the video, it was a week. Not even a week. And, you know, I've never really had that problems with smaller figures like the Monstars. And before, I know someone's going to say this. I'm not trying to fully compare it. Even though I am comparing it right now, I'm not saying this to say Monstars is better or hi shucks. You know, it's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I don't like how this figure is. I don't like that I have to explain that because I already know. Even when I explained that in my G19 video, people were acting like I was saying that the Monstars line is better than the Hiya just because I was saying that I had a bad experience with the two figures when I wasn't even saying that. And I'm saying this now. I'm not trying to say that here. I'm not trying to say Monstars is better or worse. I'm just simply saying what I think of the figure. And I don't like that I have to explain that because it does kind of annoy me. That I say it's just because of this figure. And no. But anyway, aside from that, it's really, the tail's really loose. In a bad way. That's actually one reason I haven't made a stop motion with it. And the joints are really not that good, aside from the head. Super stiff and super tight, just like the G19s. Actually, not really. Not as bad, but somewhat to it. And it's really annoying that I have to deal with that. I also don't like... I can't tell if the teeth are painted black or it's just how they are. But I don't understand why you would do that for a monstrous Godzilla figure. Because his teeth are normally like a whitish, dirty color. You know, how you'd expect on an animal. You know, normal teeth. But what's going on with this teeth on this one? Another thing, but this is with the figure itself. It's not even like a quality control problem. The gums are... It's distractingly bright compared to the figure. So if his mouth's open, that's just... I only look at that every single time because it's just so different from the figure. There's no changes in the paint because it's basically just gray with barely noticeable greens put out through it. And yes, there are, at least on mine, there are greens on a bit on the shoulder and the neck, the jaw. There's more paint on the tail than the body. I don't really know why that is. And yeah, that's about it on the negatives. The positives is it's really well detailed. Unlike the G19s, the paint doesn't get on my hands and doesn't feel like I'm holding like dirt or something like that, like dry dirt, you know, that's how it felt when I held them. It's weird. This one doesn't really have that. Or the Burning Godzilla, and I'm really glad that it doesn't. And its head articulation's really good. It's a bit stiff, but still pretty good. But the detail in that, and, you know, I can't really think of any other positives. Yeah, that's really all its positives. It's good for photos, which is why you'll see it in a lot of photos, but I've made a few animations with it, which I'll show one of them right now that I haven't uploaded. I'll upload it on its own with better effects, but it is an okay figure overall. And I don't think it's bad, because the best thing about it is the detail. I don't really care if it's fully accurate, when the entire joint system kind of sucks. Overall, I don't think it's a bad figure. But I don't think it's a great figure. Personally, I think it's a decent figure. And the only reason it's decent is because of the detail. And if it didn't have this much good detail on it, then I would say this is a relatively not bad, actually, I wouldn't really. Okay at best, terrible at worst, if it didn't have the detail it does. And I will say the detail is good, but that doesn't make... The accuracy in the detail doesn't make it a great figure. At all. I'm not going to say it's a perfect figure because of that. This figure has more flaws than positives. And the Burning Godzilla is not like that. And that should be the next video and when I talk about a figure. And I know that the past 2 videos that I made have just been negative towards hiya, and I'll make a positive one the next, because I don't want to make a negative 3 times in a row. But all around, it's an okay figure. And yeah, these are my thoughts on it. Sorry for the little rant about it, that it's more negative again. But all around, it's an alright figure. I won't quit the line just because of this one, because there's also the Burning Godzilla that I like. But all around, I still am looking forward to future figures from the line. And well, that's really about it. And I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Thank you for watching this, and I really hope everyone understands what I think of this figure and my honest thoughts on it. And goodbye.